Welcome back everyone, my name's Lee from Lever's Kitchen. Today we're making zucchini bread with cream cheese frosting. So I had some zucchini left in my freezer and I needed to use it up, so I thought I'd make some zucchini bread today. And it is just a delicious snack to have in the afternoon while you're having coffee, and it's just so easy to make. So I'm going to go through the ingredients today and I'm going to show you how easy it is to knock it up. So this is the ingredients for the zucchini bread and it's pretty straightforward. I did look at a low carb version, and the issue is it uses a lot of almond flour, and almond flour is actually quite caloric dense, so I didn't see the point of using it. So I decided not to go that way and just do a traditional recipe. So today I've got a cup and a half of shredded zucchini. So what I do is I buy the odd bunch from the supermarket, and that's the ugly ones, and I shred it, keep it in the freezer, and then I just defrost it as I need it. So I've just drained this just a little bit because a lot of water does come out when you do defrost it, but I haven't wrung it completely out. If you're using fresh zucchini, you won't need to wring this out because that moisture is going to keep it incredibly moist. Then I've got a cup and a half of all-purpose flour. I've got some pecans or walnuts, just a nut of choice to get a nice crunch in it. Then I've got some cinnamon, and also in here I've got some mixed spice. So mixed spice is a balance of cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice, which just smells absolutely amazing. We've got some vanilla. And then you're gonna need 2 eggs. I've got 3 eggs here because these are quite small at the moment. They're the only ones I can get. Then I've got some olive oil. So I've got half a cup of olive oil here. You can use any oil that you want to. And then sugar. For this recipe, it called for a cup of sugar, and I thought that was just outrageous. So I've reduced the sugar down to 3/4 cup, half brown sugar, half white sugar. And this is actually a sugar substitute, so I'm using that today, but you could just use normal sugar if you want to. Then in the front here, we've got half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. Pretty easy. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my oven heating up to 175 degrees, and that is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix our dry ingredients. So I've got our cup and a half of all-purpose flour here. Then I've got our cinnamon and our mixed spice. Got our salt. Our baking powder and baking soda, and then we are just going to mix these together, and then we're going to put these aside. And then in another bowl, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our sugar, or I'm using sweetener, so half sugar, half brown sugar. And then we're going to crack in our eggs. As I said, this recipe only uses 2 eggs, but my eggs are really small at the moment. That's all I can get because of the shortages we have. Eggs are like toilet paper at the moment. So I've got 3 eggs in there and now 3/4 cup of sugar. I'm just going to give this a really good beat together and get it nice and fluffy. All right, so that's nice and fluffy now. Now I'm going to add our vanilla. About a teaspoon there, but we know how we measure that. And then our half cup of oil. So I use olive oil in a lot of my cooking. I don't mind the little bit of aftertaste that olive oil has, but obviously you can use a vegetable oil, avocado oil. You could even use butter if you wanted to. All right, now we're gonna add our dry ingredients. Now, when you go to mix this, it is gonna look a little bit dry, and that's because the zucchini is gonna add a lot of moisture into it. So don't worry too much when you add all your flour and it looks pretty dry. Try avoid adding any extra liquids. See, it's right up. I'm going to actually change to a wooden spoon now. I'm just going to get all that combined. So it looks like that's all combined now. I'm going to add our zucchini now. And the more you mix this, that zucchini is going to start releasing all that liquid from it. As you can see, it's a lot more like a cake batter now. And then completely optional, I'm going to put some nuts in this. You don't have to put nuts in it. I like the texture of those nuts in it. So I'm just using some pecans today because that's what I have. But obviously you can use whatever you want. Some walnuts would go really good in it. All right, and we're just going to add them to the mixture. All right, now we're ready to fill up our cake tin. So to cook this, I'm going to use a loaf pan today. You could use anything similar. I prefer it in a actual loaf pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray a little bit of olive oil in here. So I use a olive oil spray that doesn't have any propellants in it. It works out really good, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our greaseproof paper in here. And that's just going to make it a lot easier just to lift it out. And you can see putting that oil in first makes that paper stay in there and it's not going to go anywhere. So when you wash this, it's just going to need just a quick rinse. All right, and now we're going to fill it with the filling. Okay, and literally this has taken maybe 5-10 minutes to make. So easy to make, especially when you've got the zucchini already in your freezer. So now we're going to bake this in our oven. So 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to cook it for about an hour. So just wait until a toothpick comes out nice and clean and then we're good to go. So I thought while that was baking, I had some cream cheese to use up. So I thought I'd make a really easy cream cheese drizzle to put on top of it, and I think that's going to go amazing with it. So I've got half a tub of cream cheese here that I've just softened in the microwave. Then I'm just going to add just a splash of lemon juice, just to brighten up a little bit. And then I'm just going to add a teaspoon of powdered sugar or icing sugar. This is a sweetener, but you could use, I might actually do 2 teaspoons, but you can definitely just use normal powdered sugar. All right, and because I've microwaved that, it's going to be nice and easy just to combine together. And that's it, pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into a piping bag and I'll have that ready for when the zucchini bread comes out and it's completely cooled, then we can drizzle that on top. If you don't have a piping bag, you can by all means use a Ziploc bag. That'll work out really good. Done it before. All right, that's all done now. So I'm going to put this into the refrigerator until we need it and we'll come back when that comes out of the oven. All right, so this took 50 minutes for me and that is done now. Toothpick came out nice and clean. So now I'm going to let this cook completely And then we're gonna put some cream cheese frosting on it. All right, so this has been out of the oven for about an hour now, and it's completely cool now. So now we're gonna put our cream cheese topping on it. Completely optional, but I think it's gonna go really good with it. All right, doesn't that look good? Just piping it on there, just looks nice and aerated, looks really nice. And I think the cream cheese is just gonna really complement it. So you've got something sweet, then you got that delicious cream cheese with it. Let's give it a go. That takes me back to my childhood. Mum used to make it all the time. And even with those nuts and everything, it makes it so much better. And that cream cheese on top just completely just complements it and everything and just elevates it. So if you've got extra zucchinis in your freezer or in your pantry, make this recipe. It's bloody delicious. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a good old like. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.